Trojan family. What's up, man? USCJ here. It's the top of the morning. It's the top of the morning. I hope everybody is getting ready to get up, get out, and make some things happen this morning. Listen, happy Thursday to everybody. We are one day closer to this USC football team taking the field against Northwestern and trying to attempt to become closer to being 7-2, man. Closer, one more step to being closer to look trying to reach that goal, which is the playoffs. And so, look, man, let's talk about it. But there is something of significance that I kind of want to talk about this morning. And that's Urban Meyer sounding off on Lincoln Riley's play calling. You guys know we had a tough game at Notre Dame, but I think there were all kind of conditions and all kind of things that were involved with that. However, when we got to this Nebraska game, there were some things, and you guys know if you watch my instant analysis or commentary rather after the Nebraska game, you kind of heard my frustrations for the first half, and I said, look, man, we seen King Miller making some big time plays. He's running the ball. He's effective. He's moving and grooving. Looks like he's getting maybe 10 yards a pop, and I was like, why did we get away from that? However, Urban Meyer kind of talked about that and kind of talked about the changes and the adjustments that Lincoln Riley made. And yeah, I think they saw that certain things weren't working. And one of the things that I said as far as with the pass, and I think Jay Walk was on here. I said, look, I said it was cold. I said that you could see early on that Jaden Mayava wasn't connecting with the receivers, and the receivers weren't catching the balls. It was just all kind of miscued things happening. So at the end of the day, I felt like we could have went a little earlier to maybe some running some more, just given the fact that we were having success. So Urban Meyer kind of talked about that, but he talked about the geniusness of Lincoln Riley's offense and how he was able to adapt. But I like the way he put it, man, because one thing I can always say, man, even though I was frustrated with the first half, is that, and I'll stand on this and I won't move away from this. Lincoln Riley is the best play caller in college football, and Lincoln Riley. You hire Lincoln Riley because he is a play caller. You don't move away from that. But listen to some of the things that Lincoln Riley had to say. Well, Urban Meyer had to say about Lincoln Riley's offense real quick. I'm just going to kind of skip through this real quick, but I want you guys to just take a little bit of a listen. Listen to this.
Coach, going into the Nebraska game, USC was the top-rated passing offense in the country. Starting from the last play in the first quarter, it looks like Lincoln Riley may have become an option coach.
So now he's an option expert. So we all have great respect for Lincoln Riley. He comes from the air raid tree. And I even said this to him one time. I said, you're not an air raid coach. You're actually a spread coach, which you're very balanced. A brilliant coach, obviously. So when you see an offense kind of transition from one to another, like a throw first to an option, etc., like we witnessed USC against Nebraska, they talk about adjustments. And here's what has happened in my career. I'm an offensive coach, and so my coordinators are almost always upstairs. The advantage you have on the sideline, you can look in the soul and the eyes of these players when they're, there's a lot going on. Jaden Mayava is one of the best quarterbacks in America. He was a little bit off in the throw game, it looked like. Maybe it was him, maybe it was the receivers, it doesn't matter. He was 9 of 23 for the day. Number one of the top quarterbacks, as you said, the top passing offense in America. So what happens? They make adjustments. They go to what we would call Plan B. What is Plan B? Like you said, let's turn into an option offense. How about this stat, Jerry? Prior to the Nebraska game, the quarterback ran the ball, Mayava, 18 times against Nebraska. They ran the ball 11 times. That's called an adjustment. Let's take a look at the adjustment from the throw first to the run first offense. Let's put this in context. The first two series against Nebraska was very un-USC-like. They had no first downs first two series, 6 plays, and they had to change. They went to Plan B. Plan B is running a double option offense. It might look a little different than some option offense, but that's exactly what this is. Jaden Mayava is going to read the defensive end. He's blocked here, you can see, so this is a give. But he has the right to keep the ball. That's double option. So here you go. They've gone from a throw-first offense to what? They're going to come ripping off the ball, run their staple counter in a run-first offense. This is called an adjustment. All right, Jerry, same exact play. It's a counter read, but the defensive end now closes. The quarterback, Mayava, has a choice to do what? Keep the ball. Plan B, you could tell exactly what it was. Let's get into the read game and put a little option into the offense. Okay, a little different looking play, but again, it's a double option. What's a double option? The quarterback's going to read the defensive end. You can see the tight end arc him, does an excellent job. And now this so-called pass-first offense is into an option phase or plan B.
Right.
Watch the blocking here on the edge. You see Mekhi Lemon out here, a great receiver, turns into what? He's a wishbone receiver now.
It's well done.
He's blocking down the field. USC offense, because of the adaptability, is one of the hardest to stop. All right, no better example. Remember, this is...
All right, so we're not going to play all of that, but the conclusion to the matter is that Urban Meyer basically, alluded to the fact that, look, Lincoln Riley is the best play caller. He is the best adjustment maker. But in the process of doing that and being that, I feel like that he found out a lot more about his quarterback. Now, I talked to B. Shaw. A lot of people talk about, just like King Miller. You remember when B. Shaw was on here, he talked about King Miller did this stuff in practice, what he's doing now every day in practice. He was doing it, what we're seeing now on the field. And King Miller is absolutely a phenomenal running back, man. Jaden Mayava would show these things in practice as far as the running is concerned, but necessarily it didn't display them. I guess because partially because some of the stuff wasn't called, and when Lincoln Riley called it, as Urban Meyer saying, now you're getting one of the best play callers, and they can win in a whole different style, in a different way that a lot of people didn't realize that they have. And it's all due to Lincoln Riley coming up with these plays, knowing the athleticism of his quarterback, utilizing those talents, and able to move and groove, man. So look, you guys could drop the comments, man. You guys could tell me what you think. There's one more item that I want to touch on, man, that somebody brought up to me, man, that I think is a phenomenal point as it relates to the Miller brothers. One of them in particular, you guys know King Miller is doing this thing, but his brother, wow, what can I say? Kayvon Miller, he looked like he's just showing up on the scene, and we got to talk about him. So the thought was brought to me about Miller, the other Miller brother, who they came from Calabasas. They are some phenomenal athletes, and this Miller brother is essentially the same as his brother, but he's just an offensive lineman. And I think he came actually to be a center, but the thought was brought to me. He plays so well at guard. He shows so much athleticism and so much strength, and he moves so well around on the field, and I know that next year, I'm not sure how it'll play out, but I just think both of these guys are valuable. I think he's just as valuable as his brother when you look at how athletic he is from an offensive line perspective. But to come in at 6 feet, 290 pounds, and to play that guard spot like that. But the thought is, because he was able to play that guard spot, and I'm not sure how much experience that he actually had at that spot, you kind of want to know, like, we're bringing in this 2026 class, and then you got a bunch of guys sitting there right now behind, freshmen, or whether it's Aaron Dunn, all kinds of guys, Harry Trader. You kind of want to know, because this offensive line, man, let's just salute Coach Hansen. They're going to be very experienced. But you kind of want to know, with Reed leaving, because he's a senior, and I think O'Connor may be a senior, do we have our next center? I want you guys to drop the comments. Is Miller going to be the next starting center next year for USC? Because I think he was actually backing up Miller, and because of his size, and you're talking about being able to translate to the NFL at that size, when you're 6 feet, 290, it'll probably be easier for him to translate and make himself a big-time draft pick at the center spot. And I think it'll translate well to the NFL because he's physical, he's athletic, and he's already has that stature that you're looking for at the center spot, opposed to the guard spot. This guy, man, he's extremely impressive, man. So look, you guys drop the comments, man. I want to know what you guys think about that. Do you see Miller possibly being the starting center next year for USC? We love him right now at the guard spot. He's doing some incredible things. But from his draft perspective, will he be more valuable at the center spot? Hit me in the comments, man. You guys tell me what you think. I love both of them, man. They're incredible. And people keep saying put them on scholarship. Listen, it's already a done deal. You guys already know that. This is it's not even a question anymore. They just got to do it at the right time, and money has to be allocated at the right time. So look, hit me in the comments, man. You guys tell me what you think. It's USCJ32 on Instagram, USCJ32 on Twitter. I'm out of here. Fight on, fight on, fight on.